Hi, Fasi Ahmed here, and this is probably going to be the most comprehensive Webinar Jam tutorial and Webinar Jam review video you will watch online. Because in this video, not only am I going to give you a full walkthrough of all the features inside Webinar Jam software, but I'm also going to share some tips and tricks that will enable you to run your webinar campaigns more profitably with some additional tweaks you can implement right away. So first things first, if you want to follow along with me during this tutorial, all you need to do is click the first link in the description of this YouTube video, which will take you over to my Webinar Jam bonus page. And once you click on any of these yellow buttons, it will enable you to start your 30 days trial to Webinar Jam for just $1. And once you sign up to your trial, I will also send you additional bonuses that I prepared for you that will help you launch your first profitable webinar campaign within the 30-day trial period. So the hope is that the intention is to get Webinar Jam to pay for itself for you. I will give you more information on the bonuses at the end of this video. Also, you can find them by reading them right down below on this page as well. Moving over to the Webinar Jam dashboard, let us start with adding our first webinar. You can see the green button here that says add webinar. We will click on the add webinar, and we have two options to configure our webinar. We can either go with the express configuration or go with the full configuration. The main difference is, of course, in the express configuration, it's simple and quick, and but it doesn't involve the bells and whistles that are enabled in the full configuration. So what I will do is I will start with the express configuration, and later on in this video I will convert this into a full configuration with just one click of a mouse to have other bells and whistles from this configuration as well. And that will enable me to show you all the features in as quick as time and in as efficiently as possible. So I will click express and click next. Now I have three more options. I can either have a right now webinar, which is basically just a spur of moment kind of webinar. For example, if you want to do some immediate webinar with your client or customers, you can do that. You will choose the right now option. You can also have an always on live room, which will enable you to have a live room reserved for you, which you can use on command whenever you want. For most people watching this video, you will choose the schedule for later, which will enable you to run a webinar at a later time in the future. I will choose that as well and click on next. Now the good thing about Webinar Jam is that it's extremely simple and intuitive in the manner that you set up your webinar campaign. So it will just give you the fill in the blank options to answer, and when you are done, your webinar campaign will be done. I will show you how it works, but don't be afraid if you have never ran a webinar campaign before, because it's really not that difficult. It's really simple if you think about it. So it asked me to write some title and description. I just gave it a random name and title, but you will need to give some thought here and choose a persuasive title and description for your audience, because that will ultimately help you drive more signups to your webinar. Now you can also add more presenters if you want. I will just stick with myself here in this test webinar campaign. Click on confirm here, and then it will move me over to the webinar scheduling part, where I will need to pick up the dates that the webinar is going to happen. I have multiple options here as well. I can either choose a single session. If you want to have some one single session at a specified later date and time, at a specified date in the future at a specified time, you will just choose with one single session. If you wanted to have multiple sessions of your webinar on multiple different dates and multiple different times, you will choose the multiple sessions option. Or a pretty cool option here is a recurring series of sessions. So for example, if I run a coaching program and I offer my clients a weekly session, a weekly Q&A question and answer session that runs indefinitely in the future, what I can do is I can have let's say run it every Monday, a webinar at 12 a.m. Pacific US time, and I will make it unlimited. So it will make the webinar campaign it will have it will make it such that I can run and people can register for a new webinar every Monday, and they will auto register to entire series for as long as it lasts. In my case, I have set it to unlimited. You can have it to limited. You can specify the number of sessions you want, but you can see that you have multiple flexible options to schedule your webinar. Click on confirm here once you are happy. Now you need to choose your webinar registration page design. Now, Webinar Jam gives you multiple options. I tend to stick to the simpler ones at the beginning because I have found that the simpler ones convert the best, but you can always enable split testing to uh, to ensure what converts the best for your specific niche and audience. To enable split testing, you will just need to choose two sign up pages and choose 50-50, let's say, and then Webinar Jam will direct 50% of your traffic to one sign up page and another 50% of your traffic to another sign up page, and then see which one is converting best, and that will become the main sign up page for you once that is marked the winner by Webinar Jam. Now, of course, I won't do that in this video, but that's ultimately a very great option if you want to. If you can do that, I highly recommend you do that because it will ultimately improve your webinar campaigns profitably, no questions, without any doubt. You can also have your own design on your own website if you want to do that. For most people, I think these their webinar gems built-in templates will suffice. To customize your webinar gem registration page, click on customize here. I will stick with the registration bar, but you can also have some bubble, and you can also enable have a button, and you can have a embedded form as well. But I like the bar functionality, so I will stick with the bar. So you can see the bar here below. Here you will see this one below, and you to if you have used any drag and drop website builder in the past like ClickFunnels or Kartra, you will be very easy it will be very easy for you to edit the page. Once you are happy with the edition, once you're happy with your editing, click on actions here, save and exit, and click on confirm. Your webinar registration page is done. Now Webinar Jam directs me to a reminder notification section where I can enable my pre-webinar follow-up sequences, my post-webinar follow-up sequences, my last-minute webinar notifications. I can add unlimited amount of emails here, and some one important confirmation message is pre-built for me, which is the confirmation message which will go immediately once someone signs up for my webinar, which will of course give them a link to log into the live room. I suggest you do some 3, 4, even 5 emails at let's say 24 hours before, 8 hours before the webinar, 4 hours before the webinar. Of course, you don't want to piss off your webinar attendees, potential webinar attendees, but the more the better to improve your show up rates. You can also have add SMS before your 15 minutes before the webinar as your last minute notifications. And I think it's pretty cool because research has shown that most SMS messages are read within the 15 minutes of them receiving. So if you can do that, I suggest you do that. But to enable this option, this SMS option, you will need to integrate your Twilio account to Webinar Jam and pay separately to Twilio for sending your webinar to sending your SMS text. Webinar Jam doesn't cover the cost of your text notifications. That I just wanted to mention that here. Now you can also have post webinar notification, which is great if you have a follow-up campaign, if you have a replay campaign, which will ultimately help you close more sales. I think a webinar follow-up campaign is essential for any profitable webinar campaign. And if you don't already know, I am also including my done for you webinar follow-up sequence that you can study and then plug and play right there if you want as well. Click confirm once you are happy with the notifications, and your webinar is done. Your webinar campaign is finished. And now, once your webinar campaign is finished here, you don't want to start putting your live links in front of your audience yet, because you need to test your webinar first before you make it live. Now, we will run a test soon, but under your links, you can see all the links that are essential to your webinar campaign. So for your attendees, you will need, of course, to give them a registration page to register them to your live webinar. You can either embed the registration form in your own website. You can you'll also link your attendees to the live room. So for example, this is handy if you want to bypass the usual registration process. For example, if your attendee is having technical issues to log into your live room, what you can do is just give them this link, and they will be able to log into the live room straight away without having to register first like other attendees. As a presenter, which will most likely be you, you have this live room, and if you have an enterprise version, you will also get a control panel for moderators. But as a live room here, this is a live room that you will log into to deliver your live presentation. I can start the test here because I'm already using my audio and camera, and it will not allow me to start here. But what I will do is, I before starting this video, I started a live webinar to show you all the options inside the presentation room that you will see once you are logged into your presentation room. First of all, you can see that you have a green button here, which you will click once you are ready to go live. You have also panic button. I think it's very cool. If you run into any issues during your live webinar, you can just click on this panic button, and what it will do is it will move everything including your webinar attendees to a new room, and it will reboot everything and start everything from scratch. So it's very good if you run into a major technical issue, and that's a big lifesaver. But of course, it's only available, the panic button, under the professional plan. I think, yes, it's available under professional plan, and that costs $2 to $9 per month. For if you are on the basic or starter plans, I don't think you will have that feature. So you will not have the feature for sure. Now you can do some audio and video settings here. You can share your screen, you can have some background effects if you want, and you can have also turn on your whiteboard, if that will allow you to do some settings here. So as you can see that I can have my whiteboard, that I can draw something, I can add text, I can add images, I can add shapes, and I can choose the color. So I can give a good slideshow presentation. I can give a good whiteboard presentation as well if I want here. So under this whiteboard setting, you can see that I can give a whiteboard presentation as well. I can click on the pencil button. I can draw something, I can draw shapes, I can add text, whatever I want. I will just clear it out. Now on the left side, this is where the fun begins, because here is all the good stuff that happens during your webinar. So here you can, under chat, you can start chatting with your attendees. You can have a Q&A going on, you can have polls. This is going to be essential if you want to build some excitement and engagement with your attendees. You can have offers if you want to sell something during your webinar, which of course most of you probably will at some point in your webinar careers. You can pre-configure them either from the full configuration, which I will show you in just a moment, in a moment. Of course, if you don't pre-configure it, and if you are using an express configuration like I am right now, you will have an option to add a new offer on the spot as well. So I have already set up my webinar offer. So once I click on start offer, this offer will show to all webinar attendees, and I can also include scarcity, to time scarcity and unit scarcity, to let people know that this thing is going away, so it drives more sales, of course. Now also, if I want to share a members area or a pre-recorded demo video or something, I can do that here. I can add a video and play it to my attendees. It's very handy feature in itself. Of course, I can share files, I can share slideshow, I can add a presentation, and I can give that presentation as my slides here. Now this file section is very handy as well. I mean, I have found that when you give an incentive to your webinar attendees, that they will receive a free PDF or a free report if they stick with you till the end of your webinar, it drives up the stickiness of your attendees. So that's very good. And you can either import your slides before or after. Before doing your webinar, you can configure it, or you can do it on the spot as well. You can see how many of your webinar attendees are requesting to speak. So you can see that it's very good. Once you are ready with everything, add your specified time of webinar, click on go live, and you will start your event. That's how easy it is to start your event. Now, moving over to the webinar. So I told you before that you will want to run a test webinar before you make it live. So what the benefit of doing a test webinar is that it just makes a clone of your live webinar and just makes you see how everything works, whether your registration page is working, whether your emails are going out at the way you intended, and whether your live room is functioning properly. So you can see everything from doing a test of your webinar before you start sending live visitors to your sign up page. So that's the all the express configuration settings inside WebinarJam. Now I will show you all the advanced features that are also available. So I will click on edit in the same webinar, click on full configuration, click on next here, click on schedule monitor that I chose earlier as well, click on next. And now I'm able to add all the bells and whistles that I told you earlier that are available in the full configuration option inside WebinarJam. So the now this is now some things that we did earlier. We added the title description earlier as well. This is a very good feature. If I select this, it will list my webinar on their webinars on demand portal, and it will give me some free traffic to my webinar sign up page if I choose this option. I don't see any harm in doing that because it's just a free service that WebinarJam already offers, and you can list it in the public directory. That will give you some more traffic without spending any money. So click confirm. Once you add that, you can of course add some presenters more. We already did that earlier. You can choose the streaming service. It pre-defaults to WebinarJam Live, but you can also broadcast through your webinar to your webinar YouTube channel or to your broadcast to your Facebook page. For most of us listening to this video, WebinarJam Live will be the main option. Click confirm, click next. The scheduling, we already did that. So click confirm. Registration, we already did a registration page design, but there are additional features here as well. I can also enable the last name. For example, if I have a last name field in my CRM, or I want to have phone number as well, I can do that. One thing I want to suggest you is, if you are asking for a phone number and you don't want your webinar sign up rates to go lower, what you can do is make it non-mandatory. So people who want to give you their phone numbers can do so, but people who don't want to do that, you don't force them to do that, and still they are able to sign up to your webinars. So that's the one thing you can do. Click confirm. You can have auto subscription to your future webinars. You can either have your webinar free or paid. For most people, it will be free, but you can also have it paid. For example, if you can also run, for example, if you can run a live masterclass that is delivered as a paid webinar, it's a very good option if you want to make money while doing webinars as well. New registration, you can get notifications once your webinar gets a new registration, and you can do a password protection as well. Click next here. Your email gateway. Now your email gateway is WebinarJam Mail is live is built as pre-default. It's a default mailing system to send all your webinar reminders that we configured here. But of course you can add your own SMTP, and you can integrate your own autoresponder, and to do that you will need to click on integrations and click on integrations. And I won't do that here because there are a lot of settings here and I can't do that. I can't show you how to integrate everything in this video, but there are step-by-step instructions available no matter what platform you want to integrate. And yes, so for example, you can choose Aweber, and you can have your emails, you can reminder notification emails sent through your Aweber and not through WebinarJam Mail. And one thing I just want to mention here is that if you have your own SMTP that's verified, and that will get you more deliverability for your emails than using a generic WebinarJam Mail. But that works for most people fine as well. Confirm. You can also add more reminder notifications here if you want. We already showed how it works in earlier, so I will just move over. Here I can add my email, integrate my email autoresponder. I can add third-party tracking like Facebook Ad Pixels, Google Analytics Pixels. It's for advanced marketers. I will leave it as I don't use any for now. Click confirm, click next here, and the confirmation page here. You can have a default confirmation page. You can also choose your own confirmation page. So as you can see, there's a very flexible option here inside the full configuration. You can survey your registrations. You can customize your thank you pages just like you did with your webinar sign up pages. Click next here, and this is what I showed you earlier. Here, the files, the videos, the offers, you can configure it under the full configuration setting under live here. You can enable it autoplay. If the browser enables autoplay, you can enable autoplay, so your webinar will start autoplaying without the need to click the play button. You can do that. You can countdown. You can customize your countdown page design. Choose whatever you want, customize it, preview it, whatever you want. You can change your live room design if you want to match that to your brand. You can choose the colors that match more closely with your branding. You can do polls, you can do offers, you can inject your videos, file handouts, slide presentations, and you can just do that from there. As I showed you, you can either do that from here, or you can do right inside your webinar presentation room once you're doing your webinar. So you have a flexible choice there as well. Okay, coming over to the next part here. If I want to enable the webinar replay, I always recommend that you enable that, because webinar replays are proven to increase sales up to 5x. So yes, allow access to the replay page, click confirm, and then I can choose some replay control settings. If I want to have a replay expiration date for my replay, which is good if you want to have a scarcity driven post webinar follow-up campaign, you can do that. Click confirm, click next, and that's done. That's your webinar. And on the main dashboard, you can see some analytics here. I will show you exactly what the analytics, because they will help you make more informed decisions. For example, you can see how many of them how many visitors you got, and how many registrations you got, how many live attendees you got. So for example, if you see that your sign up rate is low, you know that you need to improve your sign up webinar registration page. Or for example, you see that you got signups, but you got less show up rate, you got a worse show up rate. You know that you need to perhaps build a more comprehensive pre-webinar follow-up sequence to improve your show up rate. So that's very handy. You can see the individual registrations, individual registrants of your webinar. And yes, that's all there is to it. One last thing I want to suggest is under advanced settings. So if I just choose here under advanced, you can do goal tracking. For example, if you sell anything on your webinar, such as with the live offer that I showed you here, the live offers, and you can track how many of them bought, which is very good, because you can track how profitable each of your live webinar session is. To do that, you will need to just install their script to your checkout thank you page that will let WebinarJam know that a sale was made. I know it sounds complicated, but you can just read a step-by-step instructions. All you need to do is just copy the code and paste it in your thank you page, and you will be able to track your sales. You can also enable one-click registrations to your webinar. You can have advanced custom API settings. And one last setting I want to show is under the API and under the profile, there is a setting under, and you have the bad words filter. So for example, let's say you are running a live webinar, you can block the chat that includes some words that you don't want people to say and don't want other people to see as well. So for example, the words like fake or scam or something, you can just remove those words from your chats with this setting. So I hope you find the video useful. I really hope that it was beneficial to you. Of course, you can click the link in the description of this YouTube video, come over to this page and start your 30-day trial for $1 and get access to my done for you bonuses that includes a $1 million webinar script, done for you follow-ups, and my secret training to get you more webinar registrations, more attendees without paying any traffic or without paying any money on paid traffic. And I will also critique your webinar campaign personally to help you improve your conversions. So that's all from my side. I will see you in the next videos.
Hi, Fasi Ahmed here. In this video, we will discuss the pricing plans that WebinarJam software offers. And first things first, WebinarJam has recently started offering a 30 days trial for $1. Previously it was only available as a 14-day trial, so that's basically good news. All you need to do to get started with your 30-day trial is just click the link in the description of this YouTube video, which will take you over to my bonus page. Then click on any of these yellow buttons and that will take you straight to this page, and you can get started with your $1 trial by just clicking on any of these red buttons here. And all of these plans have a risk-free money back guarantee, and you can cancel anytime you want. So basically it's a very good way to get started and see whether it's really suitable for you. Now coming over to the pricing plans here, you can see that the most visible difference is that there are the prices of the 4 plans are proportional to these 3 factors: the how many attendees you have, how many hosts you can have, and what is the maximum duration of your webinar. So on basic plan, which can hold 500 attendees, it can have 2 hosts and 2 hours of maximum webinar length. And the good thing on all of these pricing plans is that you can host unlimited live webinars on all of these plans, which is pretty cool as well. So depending on your needs, depending on how many attendees you get, these you can pick any of these plans. And by the way, they look expensive here, but they're really not. I mean, if you have 2000, if you can get 2000 attendees on a webinar and you are selling anything mid to high ticket, then you will be able to cover the entire annual cost subscription of WebinarJam with just a few sales. So it's very valuable. The pricing here is, they are very fair. I mean, I've seen webinar software that have gone for much higher prices that have much less features than WebinarJam. So I think that's a very fair on WebinarJam part. And one more thing I want to suggest under WebinarJam pricing plans is that the other plans here have some perks as well. So the one of the perks is that if you go with any of these 3 plans, which is basic, professional, or enterprise, the automated webinars, which is basically the EverWebinar version of the same company, is available for you without any other subscription. So for example, if you gain access to any of these three plans, basic, professional, or enterprise, you will see that WebinarJam is auto included in your software without any other subscription, without needing a separate webinar subscription. So that's good news as well. You also have some other perks on professional plan, which is a panic button, which of course is a very handy feature if you run into tech issues, which basically means that you can click any one button, which you can click one button on the WebinarJam platform, and it will instantly reboot everything and move over the attendees from the previous live room to the new room, and you will be good to go in just a few seconds. So that comes very handy if you have a lot of attendees and suddenly the tech issues started to appear. You can just use a panic button, and I would have liked this panic button to appear in other plans as well, but I think that's one way for WebinarJam to entice people to move over to the professional enterprise plans. But all in all, I think they have fairly priced the plans, because most of the features that are needed for making the webinar successful are included in all the plans. In the last enterprise version, you can see that they also have a control panel, which basically is a feature where you can moderate the comments and have moderators moderate your live rooms. And that comes in handy because once you have that many live attendees, it becomes necessary to have a separate person manage everything for you. Okay. So as you see, that let your staff moderate and manage the event while you focus on the presentation. So of course, all of these plans comes with a money back guarantee, which means that after your 30-day trial is up, you still have 30 more days to decide whether you want to keep using it or get your money back. So effectively, you have 60 days of risk-free duration to use and see whether WebinarJam is a right fit for your business or just to cancel it. Okay. So those are the pricing plans features of WebinarJam. Of course, to get started with your 30 days trial, which by the way is the best available deal available for WebinarJam right now in 2023, just click the first link in the description of this YouTube video, which will take you over to my bonus page, which by the way I'm offering unconditional bonuses for you to sign up to WebinarJam through my link. and which means that either you stick with WebinarJam or you cancel your trial, you will still secure all my bonuses here, which I'm offering the done for you webinar scripts and slides, and I'm offering done for you webinar follow-up sequences, which I have reverse engineered from a 7-figure webinar campaign that's actually live right now very successfully on Google Ads. I'm also offering to give my viral chain JV strategy that will help you get affiliates excited to promote your webinar for free without any recruiting whatsoever. And of course, I will also take a look at your webinars and critique them. And of course, that will help you take your webinars to the next level. So take a look at all these bonuses. And if you want to get started, just click on any of these yellow buttons, and yes, you will just need to send me an email, and instantly you will be able to claim all these bonuses. And my bonuses, I've designed these bonuses to help you fast track your webinar success, and the intention is to help you launch your very first profitable money making webinar campaign inside your 30-day trial. So hopefully you like the video, and I'll see you hopefully inside the bonuses membership area.
So you are looking to get started with 60 days or 90 days trial of EverWebinar, and I just want to tell you that it's no longer available in 2023. Yes, there are still articles and videos floating around on the internet claiming that you can get that, but they were a few years back. WebinarJam and their company EverWebinar, sister company, they are no longer offering those trial options. The best deal available in 2023 right now is, of course, the 30 days full access trial for $1 that you can get access, by the way, by just clicking the link in the description of this YouTube video, which will take you over to my bonus page, and then click on any of these yellow buttons for a webinar trial, and you can just get started with your $1 trial. You will get started on this $1 trial risk free. You have also have risk free guarantee, money back guarantee, so you actually have no risk. And one more perk of picking up a $1 trial for 30 days through my link here is I'm offering my bonuses to all those who pick up a webinar for just $1. My bonuses are designed to help you fast track your learning experience for with doing webinars, with basically I'm offering done for you proven webinar slides and scripts, follow up sequences, traffic trainings, and my personal coaching for your webinar campaigns. So if you want to learn more about my bonuses, just head over to my bonus page from the link in the description. Read more information on here and just click on any of these buttons to get started with your full risk-free, unrestricted access to a webinar. So hopefully I will see you inside my bonuses membership area. So you are looking to get started with 60 days or 90 days trial of EverWebinar, and I just want to tell you that it's no longer available in 2023. Yes, there are still articles and videos floating around on the internet claiming that you can get that, but they were a few years back. WebinarJam and their company EverWebinar, sister company, they are no longer offering those trial options. The best deal available in 2023 right now is, of course, the 30 days full access trial for $1 that you can get access, by the way, by just clicking the link in the description of this YouTube video, which will take you over to my bonus page, and then click on any of these yellow buttons for a webinar trial, and you can just get started with your $1 trial. You will get started on this $1 trial risk free. You have also have risk free guarantee, money back guarantee, so you actually have no risk. And one more perk of picking up a $1 trial for 30 days through my link here is I'm offering my bonuses to all those who pick up a webinar for just $1. My bonuses are designed to help you fast track your learning experience for with doing webinars, with basically I'm offering done for you proven webinar slides and scripts, follow up sequences, traffic trainings, and my personal coaching for your webinar campaigns. So if you want to learn more about my bonuses, just head over to my bonus page from the link in the description. Read more information on here and just click on any of these buttons to get started with your full risk-free, unrestricted access to a webinar. So hopefully I will see you inside my bonuses membership area.
Hi, what's up? Fasi here, and in this step-by-step tutorial, I'm going to share everything that you need to know to start running successful automated webinar campaigns inside EverWebinar. And I'm also going to share several tips and tricks that will help you get the most out of your automated webinar campaigns. So stay tuned. And in just a moment, I'm also going to share how you can get access to my exclusive bonuses that you can get, that I paired for you, that will help you get faster results with EverWebinar when you start your $1 trial with my link, which you can find, by the way, in the description of this video. Just click on that and you will come on this page and you will find all the bonuses that I have prepared for you. You can just also watch the video at the top to find more about the bonuses. But more about that in just a moment, because first let us get started with that evergreen webinar tutorial from scratch. So I will show you how to utilize all the features inside EverWebinar by just using this edit function, because I have already created this sample webinar campaign. So I could walk you through everything faster and get you the whole picture inside it. So once you click, I will click on edit, but you will click on create because you will start from scratch. And the first step is, of course, you will need to configure. You will need to configure what you want as your evergreen webinar. You can either import from a previous WebinarJam session, which you know that WebinarJam is for live webinars, and if you have done a WebinarJam live webinar previously, you can just one click import everything from that, and you can have it running as an evergreen webinar in just a few moments, in just a few clicks as well. It will also pull in everything from offers, polls, and chat role, etc. Everything from there to a webinar. But my guess is that you will most probably be using an external video file, and you can use MP4, YouTube, and Vimeo Pro. Now I have other tutorial on my YouTube channel where I show you how to upload your own custom video in an optimized manner, which you can watch using Amazon S3. So you can be sure to watch it as well, because I share something that most people won't share with you, because YouTube will not serve you good, because it shows a YouTube logo in the video of your evergreen webinar. So it looks unprofessional and people can just navigate through to YouTube as well. So be sure to watch my video where I show you how to use Amazon S3 to host your videos using super fast and super cheap Amazon servers. That's the external video file. You can just choose that file and yeah, just click on and just paste your URL of your video file that will use as an evergreen webinar, and just pre-configure some basic settings, which is of course your presenter, who is going to present your webinar. It's down below. Sorry. You just name your title and description, and you just you just upload your webinar thumbnail. And there's some cool feature, because you can also list your evergreen webinar inside their webinar portal, because affiliates search for that portal, and if they find it, they can just start promoting it as well. So you can choose that. If you don't want to include that, you can just click on don't list, don't worry, and just click on what is the directory of the category. And these are basic settings, these are title and description, nothing fancy. And here you will put information about your webinar presenters. By the way, if you can have either as a presenter and a moderator, you can just click name and email, and you can specify the roles as well. But I will just keep it simple. For that, I just included a name and email and upload a picture, and this is the one who will present your automated webinar, so people know that it's this person that is the presenter of this webinar. So pretty simple stuff, the first step. Now this is once you click on confirm, you can move on to the next, and here you will specify your webinar schedule, and this is very important because you have several options there, and I will give you some tips. You can either have it every day, as you can see, you can every day, and yes, you can have it every day, but I suggest that you don't. There are several options here. You can either have it every day and several times of the day, or you can either have it running as on-demand webinars, just in time option, and it will be available every 15-30 minutes. But if you want to have if you want to give a real live look for your webinar attendees, just have it running 2 or 3 times per week, because if you have it running every week, as people can catch on the fact that it's not a live webinar. And by the way, you are not going to you are not going to misguide anyone, but that depends on your strategy. If you are running paid ad campaigns, you of course need to be either have it run every single day, or have it done have this option enabled that is going to have your webinar run every 15-30 minutes, whatever you specify here. You can have you can have it done every top of the hour, or bottom of the hour, or top of the hour. So you have this option. And once you are done with the webinar schedule, it's very simple. You can block some holidays, and I don't like that. If people want to watch your webinar on a public holiday, then good for them. You are not going to, you should not basically stop them from running your webinar on those block days. But there's an option, you can choose some days where you do not show your webinar. I don't like that. I find it that it should be available anytime and people should be able to watch, by the way. And now you can just go on to the next step, which is going to be the registration. And this is where things gets interesting, because these are the pages that will register your webinar attendees for your automated webinar. So you can choose anyone, and the big feature is that you can enable split testing as well. And this is highly recommended if you have more than a few hundred visitors, because you will need some 700 visitors to know to get the data that will help you decide which page is converting best. So what you will do is you will do an A/B test. What that means basically is that say you'd want to choose these two layouts, these two webinar pages, registration pages, and then you can direct half the traffic here and half the traffic here. And once that, and the page that converts the most visitors into webinar attendees, that will be regarded as the winner, and then you can use that after that. So that's a very good feature. Testing, it gets you more, and but it's not for beginners, and it's not for if you don't have much traffic going on right now. And here you can just choose what registration form fields you want. The lower fields you ask your webinar prospect, the higher the chance they will register onto your webinar. So if you want to have the phone number as well, just make it non-mandatory, because if you make it mandatory as well, it will definitely decrease your webinar registration attendees conversion. And you can have it, you can charge a fee for the webinar, automated webinar. I don't suggest that, and unless you have a specific reason for that. This is not going to be a normal feature, but you have the option to do that. We'll just keep it a free webinar. And then you need, whenever somebody registers, you will need to you will be, for example, you can tell them that you will need to be specified that a webinar attendee has registered to your webinar. I don't like that. It just clouds your crowds your email inbox with every single notification. You can also password protect your webinar room. So these are the basic features. The main important thing was to select your page and customize that, and then you just launch builder, and then you can customize it simply with your details. It's very simple and it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just edit the text, and yes, cancel and exit for right now. I will click exit. So once you are done with the registration page settings, you can just move on to the next step, which is your email notification. You can either use your own SMTP, or you can use EverWebinar mailing system. That's going to be free. But of course, if you have your own SMTP that's dedicated to your emailing, that's going to increase your webinar email deliverability. So something to keep in mind. And then you have the option to choose a notification for your webinar attendees. There are some pre-configured, something that our webinar has built into their system, that they will automatically send the immediately whenever the registrant registers for your webinar, and then they will include one before 15 minutes before the automated webinar starts. And then you can also include the webinar post webinar follow-up that's going to email them the replay of the webinar. I suggest, if you have the capability, include an SMS 15 minutes before the webinar, because SMS, it's a study by Forbes that 80% of SMS are read within the first 5 minutes of them being sent, and so it's a very high chance that people will read your SMS, and the nearer that they are to the webinar starting, the better it is for you to be enable this feature. But this feature costs money because you need to first integrate your Twilio account from your profile integration, and and you will need to select your Twilio account and auth ID and then connect. So these SMS will be sent from your Twilio account. So unless you have a Twilio account connected to your EverWebinar from here, you will not be able to send SMS. So that's something to think about. If you have the capability, I recommend that you send at least one SMS 15 minutes before the webinar starting, because that will be definitely improve the number of attendees that attend your automated webinar. Then you can configure third-party automated email system, which will give you more flexibility on how you can email your webinar attendees. You can tag them. You can do different automations based on their actions. This is advanced stuff. Most of you won't need that for your first webinar campaign or so. And this is where you can track your stuff from third-party tracking system. If you are running Facebook ads or Google ads, you can place your pixel and it will track something that you want basically. But I will get to that later as well. You can, and then you can just choose default thank you page. This is going to be a thank you page that your webinar attendees will see after they are registered for your webinar. Just click confirm here, and you can survey your registrations as well on the thank you page, and then click the thank you page design. And just as you did for your webinar registration page, you can select that and customize that. You can also preview that as well, so to see what it looks like, and if you want to choose that. I suggest if you have the capability, you choose something like this because you can include a video, and a video helps to increase the number of people who attend your automated webinar actually. So just click on next, and here is the live feature. You can enable autoplay, and this means that if somebody comes to your automated webinar room, and if you disable it, it will not autoplay. They will have to click the button so they play the video. And you can customize the text which you want. As you can see, it's called start the broadcast. So once you click on that, that will start the broadcast. You can select the countdown page design. This will be the page where this will be the page that after your webinar attendees register for the webinar and before the webinar actually starts, this is going to be the page that they will be on. You can customize that here as well. It will count down till 0, and then it will redirect to the webinar room where your webinar attendees can watch the webinar. So, and then you have the live room design. This is the room that your webinar attendees will be redirected to once the countdown timer hits 0 and your webinar actually starts. You can select different room templates based on your preference, and then you can, this is the part that's most exciting, because this is the part where you can add several marketing elements inside your automated webinar. You can you can start a offer. For example, if I selected this offer, so for example, if for example at certain time you start pitching your product, you can just specify which time you start pitching your product, and you can just put your image and text and headline and call to action button. It will appear inside the webinar room, and then they can just click on that and they can buy the product. So that's a very good feature, because as soon as you start pitching your product, you can have the offer go live in the webinar room, so people can just click on there and buy the product. And you can also add scarcity here as well. And one more feature, there are several options. You can just announce live sale announcement, sticky bonus, file sharing, and poll. I want to show you one more thing, the file sharing, which I like the most, because here you can just pitch some free lead magnet for your webinar attendees. So for example, if you at the start of your webinar you say that if your attendees stick till the end, they will get a free bonus, and after they hit a specified time inside the webinar, and you just give them a free lead magnet, so they stick till the end for your webinar. You can please configure that file sharing here. And after you are done with the live content, you can enable a live chat room, and this is where, and you can either turn off the chat, or if you want to enable the live chat, you can add your own comments. This is a very cool feature because it simulates the live experience without it being live. So you can just enter the name of the person, their role attendee, and just click on whatever they want to say, and click on add, or you can import from CSV. So what that will do, it will run that chat as if it's happening from real people, but it's not real because you are putting them live. I think it's quite manipulated because people can catch onto the fact that it's not really alive, and it could ruin your credibility if you just misuse this feature. So that's an option if you want. I don't like this option anymore because it has been overdone so many times that it has become people in sophisticated market have caught onto this fact that it's not even live. So I recommend against using simulated live chats that appear as real but they are not real. But that's something for you if you want to use. And display number of attendees. So if you have a lot of webinar attendees on each live automated webinar room, you can display that, but or you can choose fixed simulated number. But if you so you can just fix whatever you want to display. But if you want, if you keep this actual real attendees in the room, and if your room only has 10 or 12, then that could be negative social proof. So that could be hindrance for you. So I suggest that if you have low visitors in your room, then you don't enable this option because it's going to act as negative social proof for you. So either choose don't display the attendee count, or fix a simulated number of attendees, and you can choose whatever. You can just choose 268 or whatever, something decent number, so people know that okay, other people are also watching this live webinar and I'm not the only one here. And then you click on next, and you can just enable your webinar replay, and this is depends on your strategy. I suggest you have a 7-day webinar follow-up sequence that includes that starts with the webinar replay, and then it goes on to webinar crashing and objection crashing emails, and at the end you include scarcity and close the offer. That you can enable, of course, from the notifications tab that I already showed you, where you can configure your webinar emails. And you can just display, you can have the webinar replay room expire, and if you have a 7-day webinar replay campaign, you can just have it 24/7, whatever that is, whatever that means, that you can just customize this number of hours, and at that moment that webinar live room will cease to exist. And you can also enable your people attendees to ask a question. So once you have done with these changes, these replay changes, you are essentially done. You are next, and then you are finished. And these are your now links, and this is a link that you will give to your webinar prospects. They will use this page to register for your webinar. Okay, and if you want to have this webinar embedded into your own landing page, you can just copy this embeddable code and paste it into your webinar on own landing page. But the most important thing here is this registration page link that you will give to your attendees. And yes, that's it. This is a live room link. If you want to have access to, you will get that. You can see that here. This is the page. Right now they need to enter the name, email, and number to enter the room, and then there's a replay page. And here is your control panel that you can use to chat with your prospects and answer questions. But since everything, the main point of an evergreen webinar is that you don't need to do much at all. So after you after you advertise this registration page, the way that we have configured the webinar is that a webinar will run at specified times, and it will it will send out reminder emails, it will send out follow-up emails, and it will do all that without your involvement. So that's the whole point of an automated webinar. Now, one more thing I want to show you here is that you can also go here in the analytics section and search for all your analytics. Here you can see how many visitors you got on your registration page, how many registered, and how many attended live or attended replay. This gives you valuable data to improve your webinar campaign statistics. The main one of the things I wanted to share that is pretty good here is once you click on advanced, you can customize, you can track how much money you made per webinar room. You just need to paste this code into the thank you page of your product. So after the checkout, they will go on to the access page of the product. You just paste this code on that product, and EverWebinar will track how many sales you got from that offer, and then you can see that in the analytics section here as well. So let me quickly show you. So it's a very good one. As you can see that it can show you how many sales you made from your live room and from the replay room. And this is very important because if you enable this tracking code on your replay, on your checkout success page, checkout thank you page, you will see that most of your sales will come from your webinar replay room. So it's vital that you have a strong follow-up sequence for your automated webinar campaign. So that's it. I think you got the whole gist of it. It's very simple in practice. And just click the link now. Just click the link in the description of this video. That will take you to this page. And come over, check out the bonuses, and start your $1 trial for 14 days. And if it's not 14 days in actual, because you also get a 30-day money back guarantee, so it's 44 days effectively for $1. And if you are not happy for any reason after your 14 days, you can still keep using that for 30 days and claim your money back if you are not happy with your purchase. But I think you will agree that this is the best automated webinar software online right now. So yeah, I hope you got the value, and I will see you in the next video.
In this video, I will let you decide whether you need WebinarJam or EverWebinar for your business. So first things first, WebinarJam is for doing live webinars, and EverWebinar is for doing evergreen automated webinars. That doesn't involve your presence at all, and it turns on an automated fashion without even you needing to be online. So that's the main big feature of EverWebinar. Now let me just clear you with an example. Let's suppose you did a few live webinars with your audience, and you find that one of those live sessions converted best for you and it resulted in a lot of sales for you. So what you can do is leverage that session, come over to EverWebinar and just import that session from WebinarJam. And then what EverWebinar will do is just turn that WebinarJam live session that you did into an automated webinar, that with a few more configurations here on EverWebinar, which I have a separate video on how to run an automated webinar on EverWebinar in a separate video. Just find that on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. But yes, you just import that session into your EverWebinar account in just one click, and then you can turn that into an EverWebinar session that will run on an evergreen basis. You just need to pump in new visitors on top of the funnel, and your automated webinar campaign will convert those into sales and profits for you on a completely automated fashion. And how cool is that, right? And one more thing I want to point out is that, as you can see, that both of these platforms are owned by the same company, Genesis Digital. So that's the reason why I was able to seamlessly import the WebinarJam live session onto EverWebinar with just one click, because they are basically both under the same umbrella company. And another thing I want to tell you is the pricing session is, first of all, you can get started with the trial, with 30 days trial of either WebinarJam or EverWebinar from the link in the description of this YouTube video. Just click on these links and you will come over to the pricing page. And on the pricing page, I want to mention a thing that I think most people miss, is that if you pick up the WebinarJam basic, professional, or enterprise versions, EverWebinar is automatically included in those packages. So let's suppose you are wanting to you want to get both WebinarJam and EverWebinar. You don't need to buy them separately. because if you get Webinar Jam Basic, Webinar Jam Professional, or Webinar Jam Enterprise packages, you can just get it pre-included in that. So as you can see that automated webinars is included in those three packages. So that's one nuance of pricing that I wanted to mention with you. Of course, if you start your trial with either Webinar Jam or EverWebinar with my link, I will throw some custom bonuses with you just as a thank you for signing up through my link. Find more information on this page, and yes, I will see you in one of the next videos.